Almost 1 year ago, I became a podcast producer. I started working with one client from an Instagram story, and we basically worked together for months. I was in the trenches, learning what was working, what was not working, and changing things as we were going in order for her to get the visibility she absolutely deserved. And now, as we're 4 months out from our 1 year anniversary of working together, my client is monetized on YouTube. She has a super aligned company who is sponsoring a series of her videos, and she is on her way to 5K subscribers. And no, these are not just any old subscribers. She is making her business better from these subscribers that she has gained on YouTube. Through running live workshops and events, she is able to serve her community on YouTube, who is quite literally so obsessed with her at this point, and also get closer and closer to her income goal through this YouTube channel podcast show. So in this video, I want to talk about how my now 3 clients, all in the spirituality space, are getting consistent visibility on their business through their YouTube channel podcast show. These are weekly episodes that I produce from the edit stage all the way to the publish stage. My goal is to show you actually how it can be done, even if you're doing this solo and you don't really want to hire a producer. You just want to get the same visibility and learn how to do this for yourself. It can be so easy. It can replace your entire marketing system that you have for your business. And I want to show you exactly how to do that. I did all of the work already, so you just sit back, relax, maybe take some notes, and we'll dive right into it. If you're new here, welcome to the channel where I teach you how to get real results from your self-produced podcast without it taking up all of your precious time. My name is Liz Manuel. I'm a photographer turned content producer and strategist over the past 6 years, and I have gone full-time in the past 6 months producing podcasts for my clients. My goal always on this channel is to teach you everything I'm learning in the process so that you can learn from my mistakes, learn from what I've done so that you can do this in less time. So without further ado, let's get into the first step in how my spirituality space clients are getting visibility on their business consistently through YouTube podcasting. Number 1 is to be clear on your goal, right? I always talk about goals on this channel. I almost feel like a broken record at this point, but there's a reason why I keep repeating and why it's so important. To achieve consistency, there has to be drive and there has to be a motivation behind the consistency, or else it will never be consistent. Just trust me in this, okay? It is really hard to stay consistent with something that you literally have no drive behind and no motivation to achieve. So to lay this out in kind of a real life example, all of my clients that I work with now came to me with the idea in mind that they wanted to be on camera, and they basically wanted their YouTube podcast to be a driver for them getting more clients, right? So your YouTube podcast needs to be in direct alignment with your goal. Are you trying to build a community? Are you trying to make an income from this? All of this needs to be considered, and you need to be very, very clear about it, and definitely make sure that it's aligned with your heart and what you really, really want, because achieving consistency is only going to come from a strong desire to achieve something. Another thing to consider is to make sure that podcasting is actually the way that you can achieve this goal. I would say just being in the online space for 6 years, that for the most part, organic content marketing and content creation can help you achieve almost any goal that you have. But if you are a local business and you have half of your business come locally, maybe some parts of your business can be done digitally, you just have to be careful with, for example, how you market your services online and making sure that they are aligned with the online services that you offer. You can't offer somebody states and miles away anything that has to do with your local services. You can only offer online. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense. So all in all, you just want to make sure that your YouTube podcast show and your goals are completely aligned and your show is actually going to help you achieve that goal. The second way that me and my clients are able to get consistent visibility on their business through YouTube podcasting is that we capitalize on what's working. So yes, this means looking at data, and I'm so sorry if you are not a numbers person, but it is actually way more simple than it seems. The reason you want to do this is because not all visibility is good visibility. If you are trying to sell something to the complete wrong audience, you're not going to make a sale. And if selling something is your goal, then this is not a good thing. The way to capitalize on what's working is to pay attention to your numbers on a monthly basis. So if you are creating videos about your topic that is in complete alignment with what you offer, right? Like you have to make sure everything is aligned so that these numbers are actually going to matter to you, right? No one's going to watch a whole video about gardening when they don't want to garden, right? It doesn't make any sense. So therefore, if you are making a video about gardening and you see that there's high retention, average view duration, percentage on that video, then it means the people who are watching actually care enough to watch the majority of the video. You're going to want to look at what is at 40% or higher for retention, because this means that everyone who saw your video, 40% of it was watched by your audience. As hard as it may be to hear, your audience who actually watches your video are the people to pay attention to. And it's the video topic that you want to pay attention to in that instance, and it's how long they were watching. Your audience is essentially going to tell you through data what they care about. And that is the reason that we pay attention to metrics like retention, aka average view duration, as well as click-through rate. Click-through rate is another one of those metrics that lends itself to giving you insight into what worked in terms of your title and thumbnail for when people clicked on your video. When you have a high impressions click-through rate, it means the amount of people who saw that video clicked at a higher rate than other videos. So if you have anything over 5% of a click-through rate, that is really good. And you're gonna wanna pay attention to what you did on those videos that had to do with title and thumbnail. So ultimately, it is up to you to fuse together what you actually want to be talking about and what your audience is resonating with most to get your content to be not only enjoyable for you, but performing well and actually getting you results. The last thing that me and my clients focus on to get consistent visibility from their podcasts on YouTube is the systems, okay? At the end of the day, I'm a strategist girly, and I care about your systems because it is the way to make this sustainable. Just trust me when I say that. There is no way around this fact. In order to get consistent visibility on you and your business, you need to be consistently putting yourself out there. And I know that that sounds undesirable or possibly just, I don't know if I want that. I want you to deeply think about this because that really is what this looks like. Whether it's putting yourself out there on a monthly basis or a weekly basis, which I have two complete systems for doing both of those strategies for putting yourself out there. What this really means at its core is that not only your desire, right, what we talked about in the first step, your desire has to be so strong in achieving this goal that you have in an alignment with your YouTube channel podcast to where you are willing and able to show up consistently. Another huge part of this is kind of letting go of the creative direction, which is probably one of the hardest things that I've had to let go of in my own journey doing this. And what it actually comes down to is like, you can't have so much connection to the creative portrayal of your podcast when the data is showing something that you're not capitalizing on, right? Like, if the data is showing that a specific topic is always outperforming the other videos on your channel, you can't have that creative director mindset of being like, well, this is the way I've always wanted it. This is what I want to do. You have to try to fuse together what your audience is resonating with what you want to talk about. And if you've already talked about it on your channel, odds are that you do enjoy talking about it. It might just not be your favorite topic, but that's what I mean. You have to kind of let go of that connection and say, okay, well, this is actually working. Let me capitalize on this. So only when you are able to let go of that creative direction just a little bit, you have a goal that is in complete alignment with your show, and you are paying attention to the data, and you are reaching your goal through this show. Only then should you really consider implementing a system that allows you to stay consistent. You can also do this from the beginning, and it's going to help you maintain the momentum as much as possible. But without this motivation to reach your goal, without capitalizing on what's working, you're not going to go far. And that's why I talk about the 2 points first before I talk about the system. So what is this system I am speaking about? It is basically a time management strategy that allows you the flexibility to maintain a content calendar and a consistency with your content for the long term. I find with me and my clients, the best way to do this is either on a monthly schedule or a weekly schedule. So what this really looks like, a monthly schedule is essentially you producing your podcast by focusing on each stage of the production process every single week of the month. So essentially, you're always going to have a bonus week to catch up on anything else that was maybe pushed back, or get ahead and do your monthly analytics check-ins, repurposing, etc. But week 1 would be plan, week 2 would be create, week 3 would be edit, and week 4 would be publish. That way, you can create 4 to 5 pieces of content every single month, and every single weekday, you basically just focus on one piece of content. So in the plan week, you would create your content piece number 1 on Monday, create your content piece number 2 on Tuesday, so on and so forth. Now, the weekly system is a little bit more advanced, I would say, only because it relies on your unwavering consistency. You really only have one day of the week to be flexible with versus a whole week to be flexible with. So with this model, you are planning on Mondays, creating on Tuesdays, editing on Wednesdays, publishing on Thursdays, and using Fridays as your extra bonus day or day to repurpose your content. Now, none of this has to be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Say that you work on the weekends and you have Monday, Tuesday off. You can just shift these days ahead or back or however, but you cannot change the order in which they are done. So say the weekends are best for you to start this, right? You would basically plan on Saturday, you could edit on Sunday, you could take Monday, Tuesday off and then finish the process of editing and publishing on Wednesday and Thursday if you wanted. You can really do this in any way. It's just the order in which the stages have to happen have to stay consistent. So this is my system, and this is how I've been able to consistently produce 3 of my clients' podcast shows without ever having a delay or ever not publishing something on the day that they wanted. It takes discipline, it takes motivation, it takes desire, right? But if you have the systems, you have the desire, and you have the ability and capacity to kind of let go of your own creative direction for a minute and really understand what your audience is trying to tell you that is working on your channel through metrics like retention and things that are actually keeping them engaged, you will see success. I'm so curious, please leave me a comment. Has it been hard for you to find consistency? Has it been hard for you to find the visibility you're looking for? Are you finding that your audience is in perfect alignment with what you offer as a business, or is it out of alignment? Definitely let me know in the comments. If you are looking for more personalized support and you want to understand how this all fits together, whether it's the plan to publish method that I talk about, or it's more about the goal setting, the strategy piece behind it all, I have a program that I'm going to be launching in the next 2 months called the Solo Podcast Producer Blueprint. It is going to take you through all of these steps. Plus, there is that connective element to this program as I'm going to be consulting with you live in a group setting during this 5-week program. If you're interested in learning more about that, I encourage you to get on the wait list at the link in the description. So if you're looking to learn about the results, like what do people actually get when they start producing their own podcast here on YouTube? What have my clients gotten? What are the real numbers, results that you can envision would happen to you if you started producing your own podcast? I encourage you to check out this video on the screen here. It's all about the real results, what will happen when you start producing your podcast. It's probably one of the more inspirational videos I have, so definitely check that out if you're looking for more insight. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.